Hey everyone, good morning, afternoon, or whatever it is, wherever you are. Welcome to the fourth GIMP tutorial in this series. We've gotten pretty far, I mean not that far, but pretty far in the series. Today I'm going to be going over a few image adjustments that you can make in GIMP. So we've gone over our basic overview of the workspace, we've gone over how to save and open files and how to download GIMP. Today I'm going to start getting into the meat of it and seeing what GIMP can actually do with photos as far as like image adjustment and just mostly color adjustment in this one. We might go over a few other things, especially if I miss something or you want to see something, definitely let me know. But I'm going to start out with cropping and rotation. Okay, so you notice I have this lovely picture of a cake from this bakery that I used to work at. The cake is very pretty. It's an old lace style design with flowers coming down the side. Very pretty cake. Now, this photo by itself is actually pretty good, but this is just the raw photo that they took at the venue. So the photo is good, but it's not as good as it could be. Now, first thing you're probably going to notice about this is, say we took a straight line, and I'm making a straight line by using my paintbrush, and then holding Shift, and then I can make a 90-degree line down by holding Control as well as Shift, and it makes this straight line straight down. Now, if you notice we put a straight line through it, it's looking a little bit crooked down the center. Like the cake is just a little bit crooked, and you'll probably see what I mean in just a second. But I want to rotate this just a little bit to get that just little bit of adjustment that would make it perfect. So what I'm going to do is go over here to GIMP's rotation tool. The tool is in the transform tools up here, and if I just click this, it brings me over to the tool options. There are a couple options here that give you the choice to transform the layer, transform whatever selection you might be on. If we just selected part of this image, you could transform just the selection. It also gives paths, which we haven't gone over paths yet, so I'm going to skip over that part. Or you can transform the entire image. Now I'm going to click the entire image. Right now our composition only has one layer, so the one layer transform would work as well, but I'm just going to go for the entire image. There's the direction over here. You can either do normal, forward, or corrective backward. I want to do normal, forward. Corrective backward would give you the ability to rotate the frame before rotating the actual picture, just as slight corrections to your image, but I don't want to do that. I want to see the picture as I'm rotating it to make sure it's perfect. The interpolation, when you rotate a picture like this, the program has to replace all the pixels in that rotation, which means that you're going to get a different picture. Like, the picture is still going to look the same mostly, but since the program has to replace all the pixels in the picture is going to be pixel for pixel an entirely different picture than the one you had before. This said, you're going to want to make sure that you only rotate your photo once, or else by the time you're done rotating it, the picture could be so different from the replaced pixels that you could lose a lot of quality in the picture. So cubic is just fine for something like this. This is probably the best interpolation that GIMP offers and is also the default one, so I'm going to use that. Let me see real quick. The clipping, this is on adjust right now, which just means it's going to rotate it. What I want to do is cropped with aspect. Now, you could crop to result, but that would change the aspect ratio of your picture, and the aspect ratio is just like, say you have a 4:9 picture. The aspect ratio is just making sure that the ratios on your dimensions are the same all the way through. So, like, you're basically still going to have the same length on the width and height of your picture. So I want to crop with aspect, which means while I'm rotating, the picture will crop. Because if you just, let me show you real quick. If you just rotate with just, you can rotate it. But as you see, like, there's all this transparency in the background here. And you don't really want that, obviously. Not usually anyway. Like, if you wanted your picture to be like crooked like that, like you say you wanted to put it on a website and you kind of wanted it to the side to be all quirky and stuff, maybe you would want it like that. But that's not what I want. I just want the picture to be what it is. So I'm going to go cropped with aspect, and I'm going to tilt this just slightly clockwise. Just a little bit to adjust it. Just like that. And then once you click rotate, you see that it crops out all the transparency and the cake is looking just a little bit straighter, which is the result that I wanted. So after you've got your picture all straightened out, First of all, you're going to notice that this yellow line is now bigger than the picture. That yellow line represents your layer, and your layer is as big as the original picture is, but your layer is now bigger than the actual image since the image was cropped. So what I'm going to do is go layer to image size. That way the layer is the same size as the image. So that's just layer, layer to image size. Now that we're all cropped and stuff, I want to go over to colors and make a few adjustments. Now the cake, like this picture is already a really good picture, especially for a raw photograph, but I want the cake to pop a little bit more. I feel like the colors aren't contrasting enough to really make the cake show up for what it is. So I'm going to go over here, first of all, to shadows and highlights, and I'm going to make the shadows a little bit darker on the cake. And I'm actually going to take off some of the highlights, actually, just because the cake is a white or ivory color. I might actually switch up the white point adjustment over just a little bit. Yeah. The white point adjustment is just like how much white that you want in the photo. There's a lot of white in this photo, in the subject of this photo, that is. I'm going to go back over to colors, to brightness and contrast. I want some more contrast in the cake. So you see I'm moving this bar over just a little bit, and you can already see the results are like coming in pretty quickly. So I'm not going to move it over that far, because if you do, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a technicolored cake. But I'm going to move it over not so much to where it would make it look unrealistic, because if you move it over even that far, the shadows in the background are going to begin to look way overwhelming. But I'm going to move it over maybe about there just to get that adjustment. Alright. I'm going to go over to colors again, and I'm going to go over to saturation. Now I like to up the saturation of these photos just a little bit, because I just like watching the color of the flowers and just the background pop out. So I'm going to go over to scale and scale it up just a little bit, not too much to where it would look unrealistic, but just a little bit to make those colors really pop out and just to make the photo eye-catching, because that's one of the things about photos like this. We would put a photo like this on our bakery website. So you want this photo to look stunning. You want it to catch somebody's eye and say, oh wow, that's the cake that I want at my wedding. So you want to make those colors really pop and show up against the white background of the cake and just to really look beautiful on there. So I'm going to up the saturation just a bit. As you see, it didn't take much. The colors are really popping out and the cake is looking really good. I don't think there's anything else that I really want to do on this. The only other thing that I could really think of is going over here to filters, enhancing, and maybe sharpening it just a little bit. But even that I don't think would be too good of an idea. Sharpening can work in certain instances, but if you sharpen even a little bit too much, it can really lower the quality of your photo. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is right now and leave those color adjustments there. Now, as you notice, I use like 2 color adjustments or 3 color adjustments. There are so many more color adjustments in here that you can use. I'm going to go ahead and export this photo just so I can have a copy. So I'm going to put Cake 1 JPEG. And then I'll do a side-by-side view so you guys can see the pictures next to each other. GIMP examples. So here's the first photo that we worked with originally. And here's the photo now. And they don't look significantly different. They don't look like, you're not going to look at that and be like, wow, it's a completely different photograph. But you notice the colors are a lot more vibrant over here. The cake is slightly straighter. It just looks that little bit better that really takes it. That takes the cake. Ha ha ha. I promise you I did not mean to make that joke. It just came. But just that little bit of vibrancy that you can add to it, it really makes the difference, I think. Just looking at it, like, you know, if you had to pick in between these photos, which one would you think looks better? Okay, so that's pretty much all the color adjustments that we're going to be going over today. If I've missed anything, definitely let me know. If you want to see a tutorial on something else, again, definitely let me know. But I think this is where we're going to end off this video today. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting this series, and I hope you guys are really enjoying it and learning something from it. Thanks, bye.